a small group of us were studying the Pathworkings for a few months, and we were getting deeper and deeper into a vibration that was beyond what we're doing even in this group. And at some point, I mean, we started losing people, even a small number of people, that one or two couldn't stay. And then there was one of the most sort of mature and long-standing members of my student group just lost it, really, you know. And I kind of realized we need to ground this very, very well indeed. And it's literally grounding it. They're called paths because you can walk them physically. Now, in this medium that we have of Zoom, I can't actually show you what I know, because everything that I've learned as a physical experience. I'm a dance teacher, and I've walked the planets. And so when I think of a planet, I move into a certain state in my body. And if you want me to talk about Pluto, then I'm going to have a certain state of being, you know. And if I actually get into Neptune, I'm going to change my tone of voice, you know. And I've learned how to embody these energies. And the best way to do that is walking. And what we've got with the Pathworkings is the possibility of walking between 2 points to start with. So first of all, in this particular example, we would embody the 7 points of the 7-word system and their body states. And we studied all the body states of these 7 words when we were training in this a couple 20 years ago. And so there's a body state of no, you know, something like this, you know, and a body state of hello, something like this, and a body state of yes, something like, you know. And you can feel the change occur. You can feel your breathing rhythm changes a little bit, whether you're forward or back or observing or participating. So the first thing for us to do is to learn those body states. And then you will notice that, and here's the secret, here's the real subtle mystery of this, is that we have most of our invested attention in the world of duality. We think in terms of opposites. I am either man or woman. It is either day or night. You know, we look to reality as a series of opposites. Now, if you actually take that principle and apply it to the emotional body, you will find that certain feelings that you've got are actually the same feeling, but looked at in a convex and concave manner. So let's say, for example, somebody hurts you physically, step on your toe. What is your immediate reaction? Like, whoa, fuck off. It's like anger, fiery anger, if you don't control yourself. But actually what you're doing is expressing hurt. You're not really angry with anyone. Somebody's just stepped on your toe, and your body reacts in a certain way, which is an exclusive way, an excluding way. Get out. That hurts. Get out. That's the purpose of it. It's not wrong to be angry if somebody's trying to kill you, for example. The appropriate thing to do is to angrily get them out of your reality. And anger stokes up the adrenaline, and you know the Mars energy is the fight flight mechanism. That's Mars in astrology. So you stoke up your adrenaline by getting angry so that you can save yourself from attack. So anger is a very useful biological condition. Now, what I'm pointing out is that hurt and anger are actually the concave and convex version of the same condition. If you have the ability to breathe through every situation, then when somebody says something to you or does something that makes you angry, that's not necessary. You don't have to be with the anger. What you can do is just use the breath to rise above the world of duality. And you can see from that higher perspective that you could descend into polarity by choosing either anger or hurt. You have the choice. You can't stay there for very long. You can stay there for as many breaths as you can hold, but you can't stay there for long. And then you have to come down. And when you come down, you must choose anger or hurt. You can think of other polarities. Blame and guilt is another one. You can choose which of those to experience. Now, what we're doing with the Pathworkings is saying, let's look at the 7 polarities that we can identify with the Elven star. If we remember seeing Sharon's diagram, there were internal lines that linked the words no and goodbye was the first, and so on. There are 7 of those. And if we say that we can choose no or goodbye, and we can master which of those 2 to choose in any moment, then we are walking the path of power. So if somebody offers me a suggestion and I say no, I'm strong in my no. If I don't like their suggestion and I can't actually do anything about it, then I'll walk away. I'm strong in my goodbye. Both very good, very resourceful. But there's a higher level where you can actually hold both no and goodbye in your system. And when you can do that, you can be pretty sure that they can't. And so you're rising above the need to choose between no and goodbye temporarily. That is what I am calling the place of power. And to have that choice available to you is mastery. All of these paths are walked occasionally in the moment that we need them. We don't walk that path all the time. You know, sometimes we go shopping, sometimes we're with the kids, sometimes we're having a business deal, and we need different energies for those things. But if we have available the choice between no and goodbye, then we're powerful. And this is the process of transforming our strength into power. That's the key phrase for the path of power. Now, the next path that we're studying is the path of soul. And this is the linkage between goodbye and yes. Goodbye is that which gives us freedom to move, to respond to our decisions spontaneously. And when we choose not to choose, then we have awareness of the soul. The soul doesn't care what we do, absolutely doesn't care. The soul is just sort of like more concerned with how we are and not what we are, not what we're doing. So it's not what you do, it's the way that you do it. Remember that song from the 80s?
Mm-hmm.
Deep wisdom. It's not what you do, it's the way that you do it. Identification of self as soul. So I am not James Burgess, who has a soul. I actually identify myself by the name Sophius. When I think of myself, I call myself Sophius. And Sophius is currently using James Burgess's personality and circumstances to enact the soul purpose. So I identify myself as soul when I think of myself alone. And that's the path of soul. The next path, and goodbye is my ability to make a decision and act upon it and walk away. And yes is my, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to take what comes. And I can choose in any moment whether to change what I don't like or accept what comes. It's like the serenity prayer. The wisdom of the serenity prayer is an alignment with the path of soul, I would suggest, for debate. The third path is the path of joy. When you're able to say yes to everything, whatever comes my way, I'm fine with it all, you know. And you choose sometimes to say thank you, and you just appreciate what you've got right now. And we all do this in this group. We're all very deeply appreciative people, and we love beauty, and we love love, and we look for how to express our appreciation for life. We are that way. And when we choose between going along with the flow on the one hand and just adding to the amount of appreciation in the world on the other hand, and we can do either or both, then we're walking the path of joy, and we find ourselves constantly enthusiastic. Constant enthusiasm is the path of joy. Back to something Sharon said a few days ago when discussing the relationship we all have with the Sabian Theatre project. What is the most exciting thing about this project for you? What a brilliant question to ask. And if you ask that of your life day by day, what can I do today which will optimize my feeling of enthusiasm? Excitement, enthusiasm, I'm regarding those as synonymous. So what is the most enthusiastic way I can spend my day today? That's the path of joy. Moving from thanks to sorry is when you've got this, like, yeah, I've got everything I want and I really appreciate it. You'll notice that other people haven't got that quite as much as you usually. And that awareness is sorry in our system. So the relationship between thanks and sorry, where we can choose to be absolutely enthusiastic about our lives, but actually aware that somebody else isn't as happy as us, then that's bringing in a level of an awareness called reflexive self-consciousness, being aware of yourself from the other's point of view. This is Aries 4. That's as early as we get to study that, where I and other are in constant loving awareness of each other. And if you don't practice that in your love relationships, it's not a love relationship. I want this, give it to me, doesn't really work for very long. It'll be fascinating for a while, but eventually any imbalance in power blows up in the end. So the path of awareness is that thanks and sorry. Sorry to hello is when you understand things from the other person's point of view, and yet you can communicate with them in a way of exchange of opinions and information. You want to relate to them in this hello way, quite lightheartedly. You're not in love, you're not in contract, you're just in life. Hello is just everyday and ordinary. And this is made known to us by our impeccability of communication. If you talk to people in a way which is courteous, strong, clear, that level of impeccable communication, you will find you're then walking the path of truth. That'll give you an authentic life path where you just decide to speak the truth all of the time. That's considered the greatest acceleration in your spiritual program. If you just decide only ever to speak the truth, then you blast through, because you'll lose 80% of the people that you know. They'll leave you because people don't like the truth, and you'll get to know who you are, because you'll when you say something and it's not quite right, you'll notice it. This will become a feature of your experience in the throat chakra. You'll just notice when you're not fully expressive, and it's not necessary to diminish yourself. You want to say all that you are. what Sharon has kindly called unapologetically authentic, you know, in my case. Moving on from hello, when you can actually form a communication with somebody, instead of just gossiping about the weather and the news and opinions of no consequence, if you angle that and you change all of your conversations towards a given goal that you have, that's please, of course. The goal that you have is please. When every time you speak, you're creating an increased likelihood that you're going to realize your vision, then that's the path of magic. That's what a magician does. And almost every moment of my life, I know what I want from the situation in hand. Interestingly, you know, I'm never casual about my involvement. I always know what I want from this moment. And this brings about an increased level of synchronicity and synergy. That's hello and please, where you make sure that everything you say is towards your vision. You have to have the vision sorted out, of course. That's please is strong, you know. And then when your vision is simply carrying water and chopping wood, you know, when you've actually done this for long enough, everything you've ever envisioned is already in train, as we say. You can't hurry it along. This Sabian legend is in train now. It's going to happen, you know. And when you've done that with all of your visions, and you've kind of run out of things to do because you've done it all, because these things don't take time. When you're working on the level of synchronicity and synergy, nothing takes time. It's just like idea, action, fact, you know, really quickly. And you run out of things to do, you know, you just don't think of anything more that you want. So you decide to cut wood and carry water. You decide that the simple life is actually the only life that's there. And then you put yourself away from the madding crowd, and you just walk the path of life without trying to change it. You know, you have to eat, so you work that out. You have to take care of your responsibilities. You have to work that out. And you build for yourself an exemplary lifestyle. Your lifestyle is exactly the example. You are always on top of your life. You never have any problems. An issue comes up, you deal with it. Another comes up, you deal with it. You know, you never have anxiety because you never have more than one thing to deal with at a time, and you just deal with it, you know, and then it's dealt with, you know, and then there's another, and you deal with that, and you live like that all of the time by changing this idea of please into no. In other words, I can handle that size life. Anything beyond that, I'm not going to take on. I don't want to be president of the United States. Can't do it. Don't want to do it. That's the size of my life. That's the specifics of my life. That's all I've got by way of my vision. I am not ambitious for more than I've got, because everything I've got is making me happy. I live in joy. Why would I want to change anything? So you can see that we have 7 quite different abilities and challenges. And in each case, we put ourselves above the need to we can choose either. At any point, we can choose either of these combinations of words. And there's a specific set of combinations. There's only 7 pairings. And we can go further, but I won't do that now, to look at those pairings. I'm sure Sharon has plans for that later.